Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the latest episode, even, of the Hard Compound Live. For those of you who don't know, my name's Rich, and I run and operate the Hard Compound. We're a one-stop shop for all things motorsport, and we can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter primarily. And we also have a YouTube channel where these chats are streamed and recorded. Excuse me. So yes, do come and follow us. Search for the Hard Compound on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Come and give us a follow. Join in the fun. We're here to share a love of motorsport. No controversy, no nonsense, no swearing, and all that kind of stuff. We're just here to share a love of motorsport and all get on as one big happy family. We cover all kinds of motorsport, from F1 to IndyCar to rallying to bikes and touring cars and anything we can shake a stick at, really. And we do this in the form of 3 written articles generally every day. These go out at about 9 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 o'clock in the evening. That's UK times. And these take the form of race reviews, race previews, throwbacks, birthdays, breaking news, livery reveals, and anything else that's going on in the world. We try and cover it as best we can. So come along and join the fun. In case you haven't noticed, we also do live video interviews just like this one. And just like this one, these are streamed on our Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channels. They're automatically saved in the video section on Facebook and in the live section on our YouTube channel. We've done approaching 200 of these. I won't name all the guests, mainly because I can't. But just to give you an idea, we've spoken with the likes of Mr. Mario Andretti and Jackie Ickx and Chip Ganassi. We've spoken with Malcolm Wilson, with Petter Solberg and David Brabham, and David Richards and Hans Stuck, touring car racers past and present, British touring cars and world touring cars, winners of Le Mans, Indy 500 winners, etc., etc. We've been very fortunate. So do go and check the video section out on Facebook and the live section out on the YouTube channel and give them a watch back. But don't do it just yet, because we have not one but 2 guests joining us this evening. Something a bit different, and we're heading off road. We've got a driver and a co-driver pairing joining us in just one moment. They have had their own careers in their own separate fields, and they came together in 2023 very successfully the following year, but we'll come to that very soon. So that's me rambling done. Without any further ado, we're going to bring them in. Firstly, do join me in extending a very warm welcome to co-driver Alex Kihurani.
Hello, hello, hello.
Evening, and European and British champion rally driver Chris Ingram.
Evening, guys.
Here we are, chaps. Well, this is a bit different. 3 screens. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I know you're both very busy. So, yeah, really appreciate you sparing your time to come on for a chat. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Richard. Yeah, thanks for having us on. It'll be nice to chat about everything. It's been a bit of a break for us. So just about to get back into the swing of things. So it's good timing.
Yeah.
And some big names to follow as well.
Yeah, I'm still a bit confused as to how some people have come on, but all these very nice people keep saying yes, which is very nice. And you two have both done the same, which is excellent. So I'm going to try and keep track of everything that's going on. We've got comments coming in. We've got 2 screens. I've got notes, but we'll be fine. We'll be all good. Yeah, before we get into everything, I'm just going to say hello to some folks in the comment section. Looks like it's all working. Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Hello to Defan Evans. I get the feeling he's going to have plenty of questions. Our local Welsh rally fan. John Kane, one of the marshals. Hello, John. Sue Reese is in, and Dylan Stratton. David on Twitter, and everyone else as well. If you have any questions or comments, do pop them in on your chosen platform, and we'll work them in as we go when we find space, because you've got plenty to get through. So thank you, folks. But yeah, firstly, guys, how's everything started this year? Obviously, we're about 5 months in now, but how's it all begun?
So we've actually not started rallying this year.
No.
So I became a father in mid-January, just the week before Monte Carlo Rally.
Fantastic. Congratulations. We like that news.
Thank you very much. And it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. But yeah, taking a 6 month, maybe a bit longer break, and to try and come back for our next chapter even stronger. That's the plan, because we had an awesome year together last year. even though we're still a relatively new team. Alex and I only joined forces in this time, 2023, 2 years ago. But we've had a mega run, and we've either been on the podium or won every rally or retired. So yeah, we've not been off a podium, which is
Yeah.
a pretty nice stat. We need to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you've finished, you've been, getting your hands on something nice, which is always that's always a nice little run to be on, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah, and against strong competition. Yeah,
absolutely.
Alex's season started though, hasn't it? You've already done.
Did one little rally back
Yeah.
home in the US, although on the opposite side of the country from where I'm from.
Yeah, because I did see. Now, do correct me if I'm wrong. You're like Pennsylvania, East Coast sort of side, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. So did the Olympus Rally in which is outside of Seattle. So that's the last time a World Rally Championship event was the last American rally that was in the World Rally Championship. Although that was in the year I was born, 1987.
Right. So
Yeah.
you're both
He's been
younger than I
cheating
am.
on me. So he's been cheating on me with his ex.
Is this the first you've heard of it, Chris?
He just saw the photos on social media. Yeah.
What's going on? Oh, that's quite. Yeah, you're both younger than I am, but then again, most people are, so never mind. But that's sort of good. Two different starts to the year. Obviously, what I'd like to do though is start right at the start, because there's a bit of an age gap between you guys, but it kind of all ties in fairly well from what I pieced together. Question to kind of both of you, and you can jump in as you like. I know you both come from motorsport families, which is, I guess, where it all started for both of you.
Yeah. Alex, do you want to go first, since you're older?
Since I'm old, it happened first. Yeah. My dad's from Kenya, and he grew up with the Safari Rally going past his doorstep. So he was always a big fan of rallying. Never really had the money to compete. Moved to the US, tried to make a better life for himself, and he started getting involved in motorsports in the US, namely hill climbing. We had a quite a legendary hill climb near where I'm from in Reading, Pennsylvania, called the Duryea Hill Climb. So he used to build all his own stuff and compete in that. And then when I was 6 years old, he started taking me to the one national rally, it's called the Susquehanna Trail Pro Rally. That was like a 5-hour drive from us. So we go to that every year. But for me, growing up as a kid, that was like Christmas to go see that one. And also, when he was supposed to be watching me as a toddler, he put on rally videos, and I gave him a pretty easy ride because I was already obsessed with watching every rally video I could get my hands on. So we did that together, and I pretty much had my mind made up by the time I was 3.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess kind of the love and interest of rallying is like an earliest memory almost.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Love that. And also, I just want to jump in here. You said you're from Reading, Pennsylvania. I'm actually in Reading, Berkshire, in the UK. So,
yeah. I mean, fun fact: Reading, Pennsylvania, is in Berks County, in Pennsylvania. We have the Berkshire Mall, which is now a bit defunct. that was our local mall back then. But it is funny seeing how all the towns are renamed. Although at least Reading, Pennsylvania, maybe Reading, Berkshire is maybe similar in nature. I've spent some time in both.
Yeah, very cool.
See, and Richard Burns from Reading, isn't he?
Richard Burns is
the only English world champion.
Yep.
Yeah, local hero, absolute sort of legend. So like this is the Reading level up here, Chris. You're sort of down. We're up on top. Sorry, it's just the way it worked out. Yeah, that's a lovely stuff. And obviously, Chris, I also know that your father was heavily into motorsport as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he competed in the 80s in road rallies, and he was very quick and talented, but never really took it seriously. Turned up to rallies hungover and was leading some pretty high-profile events, but ran out of petrol and all sorts of stories. and then managed to get back involved in the early 2000s when he did really well in business, and was successful again, and drove some world rally cars and won lots of high profile events in the UK. And then luckily he gave me the passion early on. Unfortunately, he went through some hard times in business, but luckily he gave me the first push into the sport, and then I've sort of just ran with it since. So it's all thanks to my dad.
Yeah, it's always nice. Like, it's so often the way that obviously there's a parent involved, who's involved in motorsport. It's kind of, I guess, once you're kind of immersed in it when you're a kid, it's almost inevitable that you're going to have a go at some point. Do you remember the first time you both wanted to have a go when you first asked the question and like what the answer was?
The funny thing is, so Alex and I both used to make rally videos. We used to go and film rallies as kids, but obviously me in the UK, Alex in the US.
Very cool.
And then I don't know about you, Alex, but I was hooked from the start, and as soon as I got the chance to drive something, that sort of ignited the flame, really.
Yeah, same. I mean, I was just desperate, looking for any way I could have a go. I'd say the first time in the co-driver seat was through my say connections or relationships online. I found out that I could co-drive in road rallies from the time I was 12. So I did one with my dad together when I was 12. Although I was, a bit cross with him for not following the timings or the speeds that I prescribed and giving me penalty points, making it look like I wasn't as good as I was. And then when I was 14 years old, I actually got behind the wheel of a rally car myself the first time. It was a rally sprint on private land, and the rally had finished, and some of the guys had maybe had a few drinks, and I said, hey, like, you don't need a driver's license because it's on private land. Like, even I could drive. And they're like, oh yeah, sure, why don't you have a go?
Wow.
So
How
I was
did
so
that
excited.
go?
It went quite well. I was already quite into like my sim racing and stuff, so I had like an idea of the coordination, but everything felt a bit different. Didn't really know how to use a clutch, so they just told me to rev it up to 4,000 RPM and dump the clutch, and away I went. But I was so overstimulated, I don't think I could sleep for days.
Just buzzing for
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's very cool. That's really cool. And I sort of quite like that, the way that like the internet community kind of got you in touch with people and kind of helped you out that way.
I actually heard from Alex. So he asked me, I was only a kid, but Alex asked me for some videos of my dad, some onboard footage.
Yeah, when I first came over when I was 21.
It must have, I don't know how long ago, like 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was the first time we were ever in touch, and then it's pretty crazy how things have ended up.
It's kind of come full circle, yeah. It is. I mean, just quickly, I mean, obviously Alex, this happened before Chris got involved with things, but you said that you got behind the wheel of the car. When did you choose either, co-driver or driving? Because I know what I'd rather do, and it's not co-driving.
I think the default is you usually go into you're more, looking at the driving side of things. But I always found the co-driving side fascinating as well. Like, I had bought this Arctic rally experience with Colin McRae and Ari Vatanen that came with pace notes when I was a kid, and I'd try that and practice it, and found it quite enjoyable too. I think probably my original intention was on driving, but the funding was just never there to start. And through the relationships I had in rallying through the online community, I got a lot of help and mentoring from the other co-drivers, and they really encouraged me to start co-driving. And it had such a low barrier to entry that I was able to start right away when I was 16. And then I realized actually that skill set you need for a co-driver is someone that is obsessed with the sport enough to know every detail. And maybe I've always been a little bit bookish, and that helps a lot from the co-driver side of things. And so I realized actually I could be really good at co-driving. I'm not so sure I'd be the best driver, but I could try to be the best co-driver. And so then I just decided to pursue that.
Yeah, that's cool. No, that's kind of weighing it up and choosing your route. I mean, Chris, obviously you were coming up like 2 or 3 years behind, but did you ever want to go down the co-driving route, or was it all about the driving for you?
It's never crossed my mind, because the first time I ever went in a rally car with my dad, I was absolutely petrified in the passenger seat.
Right.
So after that, it never crossed my mind after that trauma.
I think I'd be exactly the same. I mean, it's like when you get taken for a hot lap or something and you think, oh, this is fantastic, but you've got no control over what's going on. And I hate that feeling.
I didn't think it was fantastic at all.
The sadist in Chris enjoys giving other people that feeling, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Does that mean that co-drivers are a bit nicer?
Yes, of course.
Agreed. No, we'll see. No, that's very cool. I mean, I know that. I mean, Chris, was it around 2003, sort of around that kind of time, you kind of went to, was it your first kind of rally, Yorkshire, wasn't it? I had a quick look, and I guess as soon as you were there, you were like, yes, this needs to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't like, oh, I want to do this. I just loved the sport. Just got so many special memories of going into the forest, and unless you're a rally fan, you won't understand what I mean. But going into the forest and hearing the cars and the smells and just the whole adventure is just magic. So many great memories.
It's that thing of hearing it first before you can see it, and thinking that it almost builds an anticipation, doesn't it? Because there's not loads and loads of cars going past like on circuit racing.
Yeah.
You just kind of can't wait for it to arrive, and then
Hello.
Oh, I thought it was my internet connection. Oh no, it's his.
Oh no. At least we're still on.
Yeah. We'll just run this interview ourselves.
Oh no, he's gone.
He's back. He's back. But he's on the bottom now.
Sorry, folks. I am back. I'm back where I belong, on the bottom rung. Sorry, the internet dropped out there. Sorry, folks. Sorry, chaps. But yes, sorry. Yeah, just being as I said, for the 1 nanosecond that it goes past, it's an incredible rush. So I totally get what you mean.
I always think of that rally I went to in Pennsylvania growing up. It used to be half in the dark and really deep in the forest, and I still have the memories of just like waiting, midnight, pitch black, like so dark you could see satellites overhead, and then you would just see this faint light in the distance, and it would just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, and then a big flash of light in a car coming in sideways, and it's just the best thrill you could ever have.
Yeah. I think the coming in sideways bit helps, doesn't it?
Yes.
That's very cool. Just quick, I just want to touch on a couple of comments that have come in. We have to say hello to Indira Flack, who has tuned in. Hello, Indira. It was Indira who put me in touch with Chris, and so this is all happening because of Indira. So thank you very much, Indira, for doing that. And she's also done some photography of Chris for the Great British Racing Drivers book, which is absolutely worth getting. GBRD. And it's all plenty of British racing drivers all in one big photo book, and it's a terrific bit of work. So do go and check that out. But thanks again, Indira. We're going to give you a wave as well, which is great. So just a couple of bits in the comment section as well. John Kane, our resident marshal at Knockhill, he's got a 1-18 model with Chris's Toyota Yaris from 2024 and Alex's car as well. Come on now. It's a scale model car, which is very, very cool. So he's obviously got that. So John's obviously a fan, which is great. And Luke Perry.
I've not got one yet.
Yeah, we're
Just
both trying to
reminded
get
me.
one soon.
John, where'd you get it? Tell us where you got it, and we'll and we'll sort it.
Well, tell us your address and we'll come and get it off you.
Yeah, we'll come and borrow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also we've got Luke Perry tuning in on Facebook. He says he's been to see Chris and Alex all over the world, and will continue to do so for the foreseeable. Marvelous.
Top man.
We like that. Okay, and guys, I have seen the other comments, so we're going to, excuse me, we'll come back to those as well. And there's a chap called John Ingram is tuned in. He said the real legend in his own mind is watching. I think we know who that is. Great stuff. So no, thank you everyone for tuning in. Always well over 100 of you already. Very nice. Right, okay. I'm just going to zap forward a bit. Obviously, 2003, you went to watch rallying. Alex, you were rallying already at that time and through the noughties, I suppose, to 2000 and 2008. I guess you just worked your way up, through various series with various drivers, word of mouth and everything, just getting around about how good you were.
Slowly.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, was it at this point? Was this when you were rallying back in the States? Because I know you popped over here, didn't you, for 6 months or so around to Manchester as well?
Yeah, I started. So I turned 16 in January 2003, and then I started co-driving 3 weeks after that. And just started back of the pack regional rallies, and then had like pretty steady progress, I would say, upwards. And then in 2008, that's when I started co-driving for Dave Mira on the Subaru rally team. So that was the time when it was Travis Pastrana, Ken Block, although it was before Ken Block released any Gymkhana videos, so he was well known as the business entrepreneur, but only in that extreme sports circle, but not widely known.
Obviously the guy behind DC Shoes, wasn't he, or one of the co-founders?
Yeah, exactly. And Dave Muir, who was a BMX rider and one of my heroes growing up. And so I sort of used the publicity of doing that in X Games that year to then go. I was in uni in 2008, and so then I did like a semester abroad at University of Manchester, because I thought it's between Yorkshire and Wales, this should be good for doing some rallying. And so then that was my first taste of rallying in the UK.
Yeah, that's very cool. Fantastic. I must admit, I didn't know that you originally raced with Dave Mira. I had no idea. I kind of knew him from the Tony Hawk kind of era, that kind of whole video game.
It's a long time ago. It's 17 years ago now. It seems crazy. Yeah.
Wow, time flies. Wow. And so that was around 2008, and you got a medal from the X Games as well, which is very, very cool. Cool thing to have. And it was the following year, Chris, that you kind of got you kind of started in junior rallying. How did it all come to be that you ended up going rallying? I mean, I guess your dad had some contacts and things like that, but how did it all come together?
So there's a championship in the UK at Formula 1000 for 1 litre cars.
Yeah.
14 to 17-year-olds, and it's just an incredible championship. Perfect place to start. My dad and I, so I was rallying a Citroen C1, and we had a motorhome at the time, a little motorhome, and we were just trailering the car around the UK, competing on these single venue rallies, and it was just ideal place to start. And I don't think we put a spanner on the car all season. we just turned up and put some tires on it and filled it up and went. So it was great fun, great times. And then as soon as I got my road driving license, I then went and did a few proper adult rallies in the forest with that very car.
Wow.
With the junior car, and did really well, winning the class and beating much quicker cars. So that was the early days, and then just taking it step by step. I've not had any fast track. I've had to really graft, year by year to try and get one step further every time, which has been quite rare really, because you see the guys now that get a load of funding or they've got a famous father and they just get put straight into a Rally 2 car or a WRC car.
Yeah.
But that's definitely not been the case for me. I only drove my first 4-wheel drive car when I was 23.
Wow.
So
Right.
And then won the European Championship when I was 24. So
Right.
yeah, I've had to take it step by step, but been very rewarding so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, doing it the hard way or doing it the right way, or whichever way you want to put it. Just want to touch on some of those actually. So some of those steps with some of the notes that you guys very kindly sent over. One thing I did see around that time was around 2010. I think this is one for Alex. When Iceland kind of blew itself up, with the volcano. That kind of grounded a lot of like a lot of drivers and co-drivers and stuff, and that kind of afforded you some opportunities, didn't it? And this is the first time that I've ever heard of a volcano taking some credit.
Yeah. It's quite a wild natural catastrophe with worldwide implications that sort of just forget about, because it brought everything to a halt and then everything was just fine afterwards. But yeah, in 2000, I mentioned 2008, I was on the Subaru Rally team. And then at the end of that time, they brought in Derek Ringer, the Colin McRae's co-driver of the 1995 World Rally Championship, and they figured he would be better for developing Dave than a 21-year-old kid. So fair enough. But it happened quite abruptly, and I sort of realized, well, and also like Subaru is kind of the only big game in town in America. Sure. And I was struggling to find opportunities. I'd graduated uni and started working full time, didn't quite have as much time to pursue other things. So I was struggling a bit to find a way forward. And then that happened, and I got a call from Joseph Burke, son of Seamus Burke, who's US rally champion and had some really great results in Ireland back in like the 80s. So they called me in the middle of the night and asked if I could come the next day to do the Olympus rally, the last rally I just did actually, to run with Joseph, because his Irish co-driver couldn't come. I think it was David Moynihan, who's won lots in the UK and Ireland as well. And fortunately, it went very well, and then they kept me, and then the sort of Irish contingent in the US, I think, counted me as the best alternative if someone from Ireland wasn't available. Right. And that sort of gave me that other extra bit of confidence to then be able to move across. But yeah, it was all because of that Icelandic volcano. I could still, all the flights in Europe were grounded, but I could still make it to the West Coast.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I love how we're all saying Icelandic volcano. No one's trying to pronounce it.
I've never tried.
No, I looked at the word once and thought, no, not trying that.
Yeah.
Just while we're on the subject of Ireland, actually, we've got a chap on Facebook called Mike Cole, whose daughter Kales has been on here for a chat. She races in the F1000 series. Hope she's doing okay after the crash recently, Mike. He said that you'll have to come and try the Irish Stages West Cork Rally or the Cork 20. You guys would love the roads around there, so feels like an open invitation if you can get out there.
It's nice. I've done West. Yeah. I've done West Cork once.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
My dad's done it a few times. Went over there as a kid, and it was an amazing atmosphere. And yeah, I'd love to go.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. They do love the motorsport over there on the Emerald Isle, which is great. And hello to Tracy Hickley, who says, "Evening, guys. Saw you both last year at the Cambrian Rally." So yeah, cool. See, loads of support tuning in. We like it.
Thank you. Yeah, good memories from that day. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll certainly come to that one shortly. Just quickly though, we'll touch on kind of around 11, 12, Chris. Obviously, you won the British Junior Rally Championship for 1 litre cars. Obviously, you'd progressed pretty well in the years before. Any standout moments from that year? Obviously, winning it and celebrations and all that.
Well, it was just, dad and lad motorsport at its best. So
Yeah.
those were the best memories, really, that you make with your family. And yeah, it was just good fun, lots of laughs, as I'm sure it was for Alex in the early days, and then it just gets more and more serious.
yeah. As the success and progression comes, the fun kind of reduces a bit, I suppose. But
the pressure increases, but you've got to remind yourself to enjoy and be grateful for every moment. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Be kind of present with it rather than worrying about it, and sort of be present and enjoy it. Then the following year, you were named Motorsport UK Young Driver of the Year. I remember that. And you won the Renault UK trophy. Can you just explain to folks what that is?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I'll let you.
To be fair, that was only out of 2 cars, and I hate it when people claim to be a champion when they've only beat 1 or 2 other people.
Well, but you can only beat what's there. So.
Yeah, but I did win a prize drive in France.
Yes.
For that at Rally du Var in a Clio R3, which was a very quick car for a 18-year-old, and a very big, difficult event at the time. So that was sort of my big introduction to European rallying, and it just opened my eyes to what we should be doing, because at the time the British Championship was a bit dead, and there was no opportunities. And at that moment we decided to go and do as many events we could abroad to try and learn, and it was the best decision we ever did. And yeah, my dad was totally right to sort of come up with that plan, and then things started to really come together when we did the European Championship. They launched the European Junior Championship for the first time, and on the second round in Ireland, I just went really well, even though I rolled the car near the end of the rally and destroyed it. But I was beating a lot of the 4-wheel drive cars in a Twingo, front wheel drive Twingo, which sort of shocked everyone, and that led to getting Peugeot UK to support me for 2 seasons, fully funded, which was an insane opportunity that I probably was a bit young for, really, looking back, and maybe not quite ready for. So and on that rally in Ireland, I was competing against Alex as well, directly. Yeah,
crazy. So like your paths keep crossing, and we said, I mean, many people I've spoken to on here, it all comes back to one moment where they get a funded drive, or they meet someone with a bit of cash or backing or something. It doesn't matter what motorsport you're in. Cash is king, and it always has been. I mean, people say it's all about money these days, and I said you need to drop the these days off the end of that. It always has been, isn't it? And I guess that kind of, getting Peugeot on for 2 years was a big thing at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though it would have been great to have gone in the R5 car. They just launched the R5, which they got Craig Breen and Kevin Abring to drive. I never got the opportunity to. I did some testing, but I never got the opportunity to do a rally in an R5 then. I'm glad in hindsight, because I then got to do another 2 years with Opel Motorsport, fully funded. So again, it was the right thing at the right time, and I learned so much with that team, because they were a proper factory team, whereas the Peugeot UK support was for a new private team.
Yeah,
sure. But Opel was it was like a mini WRC team.
Wow, like a proper outfit and a real like a real step, like a real step up as well, like a real step forward. Excuse me, in your career, which is always nice when it comes around. I just want to come actually to around this time with Alex. I believe we're talking around kind of 2012, 13 here. Was this when you moved to the UK permanently? Around that time, because I did read, you sent me a little link to something which I read, and it said that it came around pretty quickly. Obviously, you'd been over here, you wanted to move back over here, but there was loads of stuff going on with your house and selling things, and then you kind of landed on a cold, wet morning and thought, "What on earth have I done?"
Yeah, it did happen quite quickly. I mean, 2012. Chris was making his like European debut, and that was when I did my first World Rally Championship event, which was Finland. So that's sort of always the dream to do, and especially to make a debut. But again, because of funding, with Chris Duplessis, didn't come easy. He had funding to do the championship, but the sponsors gave him let's say the list price of the junior WRC, which doesn't include anything else other than just running the car, and you don't put a scratch on it, and you can teleport to rallies, and I don't know, sleep on the camp or something like that. So all the other costs that are associated with rallying weren't covered by the sponsorship. So you got to Finland and didn't have any money left. I didn't realize that. I thought, I'm making my WRC debut, and ended up having to do some last minute crowdfunding that fortunately hadn't been overplayed yet, and got the support to go. But from doing that, then I realized I was just blown away by the professionalism by the team and how hard everyone worked around, and it was just like in awe of the circus, and knew that's where I wanted to be, and I felt like I could be there. And so then I thought, okay, I need to find a way to make it over, because it just wasn't going to happen or work quite the way I wanted in the US. And fortunately, with my day job, it actually ended up happening quite quickly. But barely an adult, but 26-year-old, it was you still have a lot of other responsibilities. So it was a lot of admin to get everything lined up to go, and I never really fully comprehended what I was doing until turned up on a gray, rainy morning in October. to a flat that was much smaller than those wide angle photos make it out to be.
Yeah, sure. Bit of a culture shock. I always think that, again, I've spoken to people from around the world, and people have moved from Italy to the UK and Spain to the UK when they were young, and they always seem to land in November. They always look around and go, what have I got into here? Just permanently wet. Just quickly on that Rally Finland, that was with was that the M Sport Academy team?
The WRC Academy. So there's a bit of a maybe a rivalry between the junior WRC and the WRC Academy at the time. But that was the year Elvin Evans won it, and that's what then launched him in. So it was a good class. There's like Elvin Evans, Pontus Tiedemann, Alistair Fisher, some very good drivers in there.
Yeah, absolutely good stuff. Now, just quickly, Alex, I did read in that article that you were thinking, I haven't got a seat here. I've just kind of landed, and
no actual.
Remember, you said you had to. Remember, you had to turn your suitcase to get down the hall because it was so small, and all that kind of stuff. I kind of read about that, but it was within a couple of weeks you had a seat, didn't you, due to a change in personal circumstances for another driver, which is kind of partly fortuitous, but partly through contact you'd made previously, which is always very helpful.
Yeah, no, it was really great. Jamie Edwards, who sort of runs the FI Historic European Rally Championship these days, he was riding with Alex Perpotas, started a family, wasn't quite so keen on going flat out in the juniors all the time, whereas I was. And he had actually helped me when I came over in 2008. And even before then, he sort of knew about me from the online stuff. He had sort of helped out on some of the websites that I posted my rally videos on and that sort of thing. So the relationship went way back. So he basically gifted that to me, and within 2 weeks, I was doing the last round of the British Rally Championship in the R2 cars against Chris in the Twingo.
Oh, nice.
So that was the first time I met Chris.
Yeah.
Right next to each other on the road as well.
Oh, brilliant. It was meant to be.
Yeah, meant to be.
I've just seen a comment here. That I'm typecasting the dear old UK. Yes, I am absolutely typecasting the UK. It rains all the time. Guys, I have seen the comments and questions coming in. We are going to come to them very quickly. Just quickly, I think Alex touched on it. Chris, you made your kind of European Rally Championship debut in the Twingo. Was it Belgium, wasn't it? And it kind of opened your eyes. You said to it. Was it that year though? You also made your WRC debut at Rally GB. I think it was that year, wasn't it? That must have been cool-ish.
Yeah, it was epic. But the gearbox broke going through a bump, so I was stuck in third gear for the entire rally.
That's a challenge.
So it was painful as well. But we were like leading the class by 5 minutes or something. So we just decided to keep going, even though, yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But luckily managed to do Rally GB 4 or 5 times, 3 or 4 times in front wheel drive cars, and won it most of the times. So it was, yeah, just need something back in the UK now.
Yeah. It's
I mean, in WRC anyway.
Yeah, it's it's one of those been like sticking points with rally fans for a few years, isn't it? You know, I remember as a kid, I'm giving away my age now, like late 80s when I was a kid, sort of 7, 8 years old. I remember watching all like the Lombard RAC rally coverage, and it was a big thing. It was huge, you know, like Rally Report and all that. And now we just don't have it. We don't really have much here. We got a bit out in Wales, but yeah, we need it back. Yeah, we need a big WRC event in the UK if we can have it. Excuse me. Just want I'm going to pick on some results and experiences just from your respective careers shortly. But Alex, you've kindly given me the okay to talk about this. I mean, you had a health scare around that time as well, quite a serious one, I guess. How did that affect your kind of progress and your priorities, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I had to take a little break, although actually I was diagnosed with it's called chronic myeloid leukemia, but a form of leukemia exactly 10 years ago. I think Friday was my 10-year anniversary.
Wow.
So obviously a very scary diagnosis, caught quite early because something funny came up in a routine blood test. And used to be a terminal illness until 2003. And then this sort of revolutionary drug came in that you just take a pill a day and it kills all the cancer cells and keeps the other ones intact.
Wow.
But I think even though that happened, being away from family and everything and quite scary. Actually, well, I got the diagnosis, and then the next day I actually flew to the US and had a rally, and they said you can just start the treatment when you come back. So that was challenging mentally, but definitely a good way to balance myself and give myself perspective. And then a big appreciation for being in the UK and being on the NHS. When I was on the drug, it was still new. When I first went on, it was still new enough to not have a generic. And in the US, the cost had increased to something like $100,000 a year to be on the medicine, and I was getting it for free. So I think at that point I realized it's quite a lucky move actually being over here, even if I'm a little bit far away. And had a lot of good support, and maybe there were some doubts, I guess, about my health for a little bit. So I think it took a little longer to gain traction again. But really, I was sort of back to things within 3 months or so, which is really good.
Wow, that's amazing. And I mean, you can never say that kind of an illness has luck attached to it, but I guess where you were would certainly come onto that, which is good. And obviously it's all good now, so that's good to hear. Yeah. No, super. good. And thank you for giving me the thumbs up to mention that. I did want to check.
Yeah.
No, cool. Okay, I mean, I just want to come back to Chris. You kind of touched on the fact that you had like fully funded drive with Peugeot and then with Opel and things like that. Let's want to pick one here. What we got here? Let's go sort of 16, 17. You won your first FIA sort of sanctioned kind of titles. Was it the European Rally Championship two-wheeled title? I mean, it's always a big thing, isn't it, when you win a title, especially when you've worked your way up, as you said, the hard way. To win an FIA title, and it must have felt like a vindication of what you were doing and a confidence booster as well, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Just the trophies are mint for starters. Like, I didn't even know that I was going to get one. Like, I didn't really. The first championship I won was the two-wheel drive ERC title, and I didn't really even think about it. But it was nice to do. And then moving up to four-wheel drive cars after that, I put it out there that I wanted to win the European Championship overall, because no Brit had won it in 52 years.
Yeah.
Since Vic Elford, who's a legendary Formula One and rally driver.
Yeah, legend.
I just tried to get the funding together with sponsorship. First year, I managed to get it all and did really well in my debut year. And then the second year, I lost all the sponsorship the week before the first rally. The main sponsor that agreed 2 years pulled out. But luckily, the team, Talksport, massively helped me to do that second year. And basically, the boss said, I'll help you as much as I can, as long as you've got a chance of winning the title. So if you crash, then it's game over. And that basically meant to me that end of my career, because there was no chance I could raise 150,000, 200,000 on my own, but with the relatively small profile I had back then. So it was thanks to the team. I managed to just keep in the title fight, and then on the penultimate rally, moved into the lead of the championship.
Yeah.
And then I managed to crowdfund as well to help us get to that final round in Hungary.
That was the Hungary round. Wow. I mean, because on the face of it, it looks like, I mean, I actually did write down the results here. I mean, what was it, 2019? I mean, I've got here, on the face of it, you got third in the Azores Rally, second at the Canary Islands, fourth in Latvia, sixth in Rome, three in, I was going to say Czech Republic, Czechia, second in Cyprus, and then, on the face of it, that looks like a plain sailing year, but it obviously wasn't behind the scenes. I mean, trying to keep your mind in the title fight whilst also having part of your mind on, don't bin it, basically. Easier said than done in rallying, especially. I mean, you must have been exhausted by the end of it mentally with all that was going on.
Oh, I was exhausted at the start of it. Yeah, it was just very difficult mentally, because it's my dream, everything I worked for. So I was balancing trying to be just quick enough to pull a podium at every rally.
Yeah.
The pace to win was, I could have maybe won a couple of those rallies, but I had a few punches and a little bit of bad luck at times. But the target was like consistently finish on the podium.
Yeah, sure.
And we were up against local heroes at every rally, really quick.
And I was
some
going to say,
ex-WRC drivers.
Main competition that year was Alexei Lukianuk, who has the who had the opposite mindset, which is just like fastest every
Win or
stage or
bust.
massive accident, and he did quite a bit of both that year.
Yeah.
I saw it was kind of first, second, or retired. It was kind of that, wasn't it, with him?
But we had a strategy and we stuck to it, and you've got to do what you've got to do. And I've been driven my whole career by winning titles, not winning the odd stage.
Yeah, it's like the wider picture.
Exactly. That's what helps me get the opportunity to continue. So that's been my focus. And yeah, like I said, it was hard to balance trying to be just quick enough and not take too much risk, because it's easier to just go flat out.
Sure.
It was much harder doing what I did and trying to manage every single stage and not take any silly risks.
Yeah,
it's definitely the harder way, but it paid off in the end.
I guess because as a competitor, I mean, one that always springs to mind is like British touring cars. But got like Colin Turkington's a 4-time champion, and I think on 2 of those years he only won 1 race, but it was just consistency in there. And I think I admire people that can do that, because as a competitor and certainly as a racer in such a high-speed sport, whichever series it's in, it's kind of the adrenaline and the thrill of the speed and wanting to go, and it must go against every fiber in your body to just go, no, step off. And I can't, even on a track day, I can't do that. I'll just go out and go nuts. So yeah, with everything else that was going on, that's properly impressive.
But still be quick enough.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we were backing off at all. It was just driving extremely smoothly, and as tidy as possible, but still as quick as possible.
Wow. Goodness me. And that was in the Skoda, wasn't it? In the Skoda Fabia, which is a very cool little car. I always liked it.
Yeah, very popular in rallying.
Yeah, it was a great one. And just to finish up on that successful year in 2019 European Rally, was it 4th, wasn't it, overall in Hungary, which kind of sealed it. How did that feel when it was done? I mean, it feels like a silly question, but
well, so I won the qualifying on that event, and then I think we were second after the first day. We were second, which was more than enough to win. We just had to finish 3rd,
right,
to win the title if Lucky Unit won. So he was leading and we were second, but then I had 4 punches, like stage by stage. So after every punch, obviously we dropped down a position, then we clawed a bit back, and it was like insane. And then on the last stage, we got a puncher again and dropped to 4th. So that means if Lucky Unit wins and we're 4th, we've lost by a matter of points.
Wow.
But then Lucky Unit had a puncher himself on the last stage and dropped to 2nd. So it was absolutely insane. Yeah.
I mean, obviously you were kind of aware of the situation going into the last. So you had no idea going into the last couple of stages what the deal was, and obviously the last stage you had no idea what was going on.
So I knew that. So going into the last stage, we were 3rd. I just had to finish the stage and not do anything silly. But we got a slow puncher. I don't even know where. I didn't hit anything. And then got to the end of the stage, saw that we dropped down. But Lucky Unit, because it was reverse order, he was car behind us. So I thought for a good half an hour that we'd lost the championship. And then he came in. He had a puncher as well. But we're in the middle of nowhere in a Hungarian forest, in a thunderstorm.
That's how every good story should start.
So the funny coincidence was
Alex was caught between us.
So I was Lucky Unit's teammate, and so he thought when we came across the finish line with no punctures, he thought we were Lucky Unit.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you were
So he
like,
thought he had
no.
lost the championship when he saw us, and then realized it was us. And he's like, "Where is he?" Like, "Oh, he's changing a puncture in the forest somewhere."
Wow.
Yeah,
Was it
yeah.
you that told me that, Alex?
Yeah,
Oh my god, that's crazy. It's all a blur, but it was the
yeah.
most insane finish to a championship,
Wow.
honestly. But no one knew the points as well. So we knew that he'd finished second, I finished fourth. But because we were in the middle of nowhere with no phone signal, we couldn't even get through to the organisers or the FIA to tell us who'd won the championship.
So you were just there kind of waiting and wondering.
Yeah, yeah. And then like after half an hour after I'd finished the stage, we got word from Chris Rose, the reporter, and it was
Wow.
a lot of emotions.
Yeah, I'll bet. I mean, it's sort of, again, that's one of the things about rallying. You can be in, as you say, the middle of nowhere, but you think, I'm European champion, but I'm kind of here. What's
That's the
going
beauty
on?
of it. Being in the middle of nowhere in a foreign country, getting piss wet through in the don't find me in the in
No,
a
it's fine.
thunderstorm, and then a month later stood on stage with Lewis Hamilton picking up an FIA trophy.
Wow.
That's the beauty of it.
That's incredible. I mean, yeah, that's kind of like the yin and the yang of it all, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
that's what kind of rallying gives you. And I mean, I guess you kind of made it back in time to have a bit of a celebration and to really enjoy yourself. Or do you not remember?
I think it was just relief. Like it had been such a difficult time.
Yeah.
Horrible year actually.
Yeah.
So,
and also that rally that day, it was like a monsoon.
yeah,
So
it was the worst conditions I've ever faced as well that day.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, just everyone hydroplaning everywhere, just mud, standing water all over the place. The last stage was in the dark. Everyone's windscreens are fogging up. You couldn't see anything. Lots of puncture risk. It was absolutely mental.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that, I know there's like a lot of followers of the page here are kind of fans of like circuit racing, touring cars, things like that. I just want to touch on like basically what you guys do generally, because as you said, it was muddy, wet, fogging up, can't see what you're doing, and you're still banging around 100 miles an hour going sideways between trees. I mean, you're mad. You're absolutely bonkers. But I just think you guys are wired differently to other people in motorsport. And there's no disrespect to them and what they do, but to be in those conditions, when it goes wrong, it's going to go wrong. There's more that can go wrong, as you said, with the puncture and things like that. And you still go out there and do it. And because everyone thinks about you win a championship and it's all sort of fireworks and all that kind of stuff, and you go onto a podium and you sprint. But with what you guys do, that's not guaranteed, is it?
No, like one slip up. I drove that whole last stage on three tires. Basically, it was down to the rim. It was thick fog, pitch black, thunderstorm, rain. One slip up, we could have been in a ditch, getting towed out in the middle of the night, and have just thrown everything all away.
Jeez.
So
so much at stake. Yeah.
There's so much at stake. The margin for error is so small, and I think that's why even the Formula One drivers have got so much respect for rally drivers.
Yeah, absolutely right. And just in those conditions quickly that you were facing, I mean, that's where guys like Alex come into their own, because that's where, if you can't see, it's dark and wet and foggy and horrible. That's where your kind of, your pace notes, that's where they really come into their own, isn't it? Because, so we're going to have to trust this because we haven't got much of the visual.
Even more so, yeah.
I mean, actually, I didn't put this in the notes. I was going to say this at the end, but I mean, just quickly, I'll come to when you guys work together in a moment, but it's like the recce that you guys do beforehand, go and sort out the stages and see what you do. I know that some co-drivers, not many, but they go off on their own and make their own kind of notes, and then the driver looks at something else, and just different approaches to it, and they bring it all together. I mean, what's kind of your approach to like the recce of a stage? Is it just a case of go and give it a drive or walk some of it, and what kind of form do the notes take, I guess?
I'll let Chris go first, because it's every driver is a little bit different with
I was going to
the
let you
system that they
answer
want.
that one.
I'm not.
No,
I
your
definitely
notes,
can't.
Chris.
Yeah, I definitely can't comment. So,
So we do. So at international, like even British level, international level, there's a 2-pass recce in a road car. So we drive the first pass. I describe the road to Alex. He writes it all down. Very detailed. Every corner's measured in degrees. The distance between each corner, the length of each corner, any bumps, any surface changes, any hazards near the sides of the road. That they're all noted. And then the second pass through in the road car, Alex reads it back to me, and we fine tune what we've got.
Right.
That's
cool.
And it's just sort of natural for us now because we've got so much experience doing it. Like sometimes we'll be going through a stage and I'll say, "Oh, you know that 5 left? Can you change that to a 7?" And it's like 5 miles behind us, and Alex is like, "Well, which one?" But I'm subconsciously thinking about all these corners, and it's so much to take in, but somehow you do, and it'd just never be possible. The level of driving without a co-driver is just such a 50-50 team effort.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And it is a complex process, and that's sort of what Chris described as the basis of it. But of course, we try to prepare as much as we can going into the rally, watching onboards of, I'll do some reconciliation between routes from prior year and the route this year, watch some onboards, try to figure out which corners or sections are really dangerous or difficult to describe, get a sense of what the nature of the stage is like. And of course, if we've done the rally before, we'll leverage our pace notes from previous years for sections of road that have been used before, and come up with come to the start of the recce with a set of notes that has been, let's say, raced on or rallied on before. And we also film the whole process, so we can go back and tweak the notes based on the video as well, and just sort of like speed it up and try to get a sense of what it will be like on the day.
Wow. I'd say though that the WRC have made some events anywhere a bit stale. Like they use the same stages year after year, and now everyone's onboards are on the WRC plus, and it's just, I think it's taken away the essence of the sport a bit. Because for me, it should be everyone gets the route the day before the recce, and it's a new route every year, and you get 2 passes, and then you've got to go for it. That's what I love about it when it's a new rally or a new stage, rather than everyone spending hours and hours trying to learn the stage and go through it. I think it's a bit lame.
And Chris is infamous for putting a lot of time on people on new stages first pass when no one's familiar with it, and you just have to go with what you got.
I mean, I
just trust the notes.
I think like the fans would agree with that as well. They'd sort of say, look, let's kind of mix it up a bit, keep people on their toes, and just kind of level it off a bit beforehand, and then see what everyone's got when it comes around, I guess. I've just seen Karen Kihurani. Hello. She's
my mom.
in. Hi, Alex and Chris. Good to see you and hear you. Anyway, you know who that is.
Never missed it.
No, that's lovely. And just on the family thing, I did see. I think this goes back to Hungary. This is John Ingram. It said obviously when you're in the forest and in the middle of it, he's just written just imagine watching it from home with some of those wide-eyed emojis. I bet it was even worse. No, that's fantastic. No, that's cool. I sort of love hearing about the process behind things. But we kind of got off off of kilter here. I'm just looking at the time very quickly. I was going to say about Alex just before sort of like Chris did his European championship win. I mean, I did see that you sort of picked up a few bits, but you made 4 starts in the Monte Carlo rally, which is very cool, and you made a start in rally Kenya, the Safari rally, which, given your kind of family background, that must have meant an awful lot starting there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Monte Carlo, Chris will tell you as well. It's the granddaddy of the World Rally Championship, and so to go there, and we won the 2-wheel drive category our first try. So that was a really experience I never expected.
I'm really
I never
jealous of that one.
never expected to even get a chance to do that rally, let alone have that result. And then Safari Rally Kenya, that had been a lifelong dream for my dad and for me, and so it was like completing an intergenerational challenge just to make the start line. Then sort of took as an intergenerational trip around the world to make it. Like my dad to go to Kenya, and then from Kenya to the US, and I had to go from the US to the UK, and then by building up some experience and skills there, then I was able to come back down and finally do the Safari Rally properly, and that was my first WRC 2 podium as well. And my dad and my whole family got to be there too, which was very special.
That's fantastic. I love it. And I don't know about people tuning in, but there's always 3 that spring to my mind. I mean, obviously, Thousand Lakes Rally, I remember, but to me, when people mention about rallies, it's always Monte Carlo, the Acropolis, and the Safari Rally Kenya. For some reason, they're always the 3 that's kind of my rally bucket list. If I could get to those 3, and I just love hearing guys who have been there and raced in them and been involved with them. Talking so kind of fondly of them, because they are fantastic events, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Like, give you goosebumps before you even get out on the stages. So
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, very, very cool. Guys, I've seen all the comments coming in. I am going to come to them, the general ones at the end. So bear with us, folks. Don't worry, haven't forgotten. I mean, there's so many things that I sort of pick up on here, but I think that kind of time and around 2019 and things like that, COVID hit, stopped everything. I mean, Chris, you just won the European Championship, and kind of maybe not crest of a wave type thing, but it was, there was some success going into 2020, and then it all stopped, all around the world. And I mean, it feels bad to complain about it when so many people didn't make it through COVID, unfortunately. But it must have been so frustrating for you both not being able to get out and do what you love doing.
Yeah, definitely. For me, it was, when I won the ERC, I thought, okay, I'm going to get a chance now to drive flat out and not always be in survival mode, and, really go out and show what I can do.
Yeah.
But I didn't drive properly for 18 months.
Wow. Until
I managed to raise some funding again. So yeah, just stopped all that momentum.
Yeah.
And the sport doesn't care. The sport carries on without you. So I was a forgotten man, really. So it was just a shame. Yeah.
Just rotten timing that kind of thing happened. I mean, obviously, it's never a good time for that kind of thing to happen, but especially with what you're on the back of. I guess it was the same for you, Alex, as well. Just
it wasn't
all kind of ready and nowhere to go.
Yeah. We had done the Monte Carlo result I mentioned was in 2020, January 2020.
Yeah.
So we wanted to build the momentum of that, and then it was going to be our first proper WRC season in WRC 2 when I was running with Sean. He had quite consistent funding at the time, so COVID didn't actually impact us in that way. It was just then I was able to carry on. We were able to carry on rallying, but it was like it finally got to the dream of being able to compete in the World Rally Championship and nobody's there. No fans, just empty. So it's a bit of anticlimax a little bit. So even though it wasn't nearly the level of disappointment and pain that that Chris went through, but it wasn't great for anyone really.
Yeah, not ideal at all. I mean, this has just come up in the comments. It's a good time to bring it up on my notes as well. Keith Mail, evening Keith on Facebook. It says the level of trust between you must be amazing. That's the bit that I get, the trust thing. Because I'm a terrible passenger when my mates drive me up the road. Because I'm just I can't deal with it. I mean, I guess I think if I go with Alex here, because I mean you're kind of, I hate to say you don't have the control of the car. You're just there, but you've got all the info and everything, and you completely trust your notes and everything else like that. I mean, I've actually got it on my notes here. This is a horrible question, but I'm going to ask it. When did you become fully comfortable with Chris's considerable talents behind the wheel? I mean, was it? I mean, obviously, because you kind of operated in the same circles for a while, you overlapped, so you knew about Chris and his abilities. But when did you first think, okay, this guy's good?
Yeah. I mean, I obviously going into it, I knew he had a high level of driving at a like a professional standard. I didn't have something to worry about, but from the first few runs of the test stage that we did, I didn't realize how good he was. And right. I think a lot of probably my initial impression was based on what he had to do in the European Rally Championship, which was drive very consistently. So I knew he was consistent and good and a safe pair of hands. But I didn't quite realize his pace and instinct and reactions were just as phenomenal as they were. And it was definitely like, okay, the first rally we did in France, pretty blown away by his ability to sort of just, pitch the car, make it dance between all the corners on top of each other. It was using roads that are in Rally Monte Carlo, but in the summer. But then we did Ypres as our second round, which has a lot of deep cuts and dirty corners, ditches on the outside. And I think it was on the shakedown, there was this one pretty crazy bump that I just took flat in fifth gear, roads as wide as the car, kicks the rear up in the air and to the side. And it was like the amount of steering input he put on in while the car was in the air was just the exact amount that as soon as the wheels touched the ground, the rear bounced, it would just make the car go perfectly straight, no overcorrection or undercorrection, no lifting. Just it's just it definitely I wouldn't ever trust myself to do that. And he just thinks nothing of it. And I just don't have to worry about him having control of the car at all at any point. And he does a very good job of listening to what I have to say, so it's quite comfortable.
I'd love to hear that. Love that. That's great. And I guess it's only fair to ask the same question to Chris. I mean, obviously, when you obviously trust Alex's methods and the clarity of how he like describes things and also like the speed at which he delivers them, I guess, is a thing. Because I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing. But if you've got, well, we've all seen Top Gear when James May tries to do it, and he's just bumbling and fudging his way through, not saying it fast enough. Some people sort of may go too quick. I mean, did it just work with Alex and like the way he sort of goes about it and the way he delivers what he has?
Yeah, like it's amazing that we did barely any prep for those first few rallies because we just joined together very, very quickly, and it was just so natural for Alex. It just flowed instantly. I don't think I barely gave any feedback to him during those first few rallies.
Wow.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, all good.
Yep.
My AirPods just went flat, sorry.
That's right.
I barely gave him any feedback at all. I think the first proper stage we did, the first stage in Ypres, like we were just on it, and it was just so natural. And I got to the end of the stage, and I thought I'd driven badly, and I said, "Oh, sorry, bro, that was awful. Lost so much time in there." And Alex was like, "No, I think that was fine. I think that was quick." And then we saw the timing board, and we'd like matched time with Adrian Formo, who was the factory M Sport driver. So
Yeah,
at that point, I thought, right, we're on to a good thing together here.
crikey, that's a pretty good start. Yeah, that would absolutely do. No, that's cool. I just love the way you guys kind of work together and things like that. There's a chap called David on Twitter who's asking loads of questions. David, I have seen them and I'm going to come to them, but this is the first one that I'm going to come to actually. And Alex is going to hope the answer is no. But it says, will artificial intelligence replace the co-driver, the navigator? I hadn't even thought of that. I mean,
it would be quite hard.
Yeah.
I've been speaking to some developers of a different sim racing title, since I've always been into sim racing and stuff, and talking about how to make the experience, especially the rally experience, more like next level, more realistic. And so we're talking about an AI co-driver in a sim, and he was been developing pace notes for this game and struggling with like the timing and how it all works. And they've been able to do some stuff with like he can record pace notes with speech and it'll write it down, and then you can use an AI voice to read notes back without having to pre-record different commands, so it sounds more natural, that sort of thing. But we've gone into great detail, and it's like, well, actually, in order to get this right, you need to have the co-driver, you need to create the notes for like where the corners are, and then the AI co-driver needs to understand the speed the car is going, the amount of grip you have, the amount of time it takes to say the thing, so that when he finishes saying it, there's maybe half a second to a second before when the driver needs to react in order to slow down the car enough in order to make the corner. And so that all has to be, like I said, perfect. And it's not as precise as a driver, but you do have to get it in a window of, say, half a second to a second. And it will be in the real world quite difficult to have technology that's going to read you exactly what you want exactly when you need it, because if it's too late, you're going to crash. If it's too early, you just can't use the information, and it will slow you down. And it's a sport with people in it. I'm sure I don't know, AI is better at whatever, chess or some other things, but human being, it's still interesting to see human beings play it.
Yeah. It kind of feels like there's a theory in there that it could work, but at something high paced is motorsport, and obviously like the human.
Yeah, because because Google Maps kind of works, but it's a lot more. There's a lot more precision and complexity than Google Maps out on the stages, and it would. It's not impossible, but it would take a lot of work to make it happen. Yeah.
It kind of feels like we're kind of safe from that at the moment.
Yeah. I'm not worried.
Yeah, which is good, which is great. No, thank you for the question, David. I will ask the other ones coming very shortly. I am very aware of time as well. I don't want to keep anyone up too long. We've got bits to kind of cover through. And actually, this is the one I'm going to come to as well. Kind of a difficult subject, which kind of coincided with a real kind of high point for you both as well. I don't like talking about this really, but you was it on the rally in the Czech Republic, and you had a phone call. This obviously affects Alex the most. You like suddenly lost your father, and I mean, I guess everything else takes a back seat when that happens. Obviously, I don't want to go into too much detail or anything like that, but I mean, how did that all happen? Because I've read the story, and I'll just pass it over to you if that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I think that was actually me and Chris's third rally together. And we're doing the Barham Rally in the European Rally Championship. had a very good start on qualifying, everything like that. But we're having mechanical issues throughout the day, and some disconcerting things on some stages there that are fairly dangerous, with like intermittent power steering failure and that sort of stuff. And so Chris made the wise decision to retire the car that day. That same day, my dad was doing the Duryea hill climb. So that hill climb in my hometown that we grew up with, and we drive together as well. But unfortunately, he just had the very safe car, but had the accident you just can't have, just fastest part of the course, and a very big tree. And I had gone to bed, got the call in the middle of the night from my mom and my sister. Woken up from that, so I didn't even know if it was real for a little bit or not. And then woke up Chris, who of all people would understood it better than anyone else, and we both immediately packed our bags, and he drove me 4 hours through the night to Vienna so I could find a flight straight home. And so had a lot of obviously our relationship took a much more serious turn at that point, but I had all the care and support from Chris, my teammate, which really mattered then, and had a lot of care and support from people at home and the community back home, especially that's the people there. That race my dad had been going to for 40 years or so. So it was all the people he knew from the time he moved to the US in the 70s, and all of that. But of course, very difficult, since difficult for me from obvious point of view. But of course, all the details around it, since I'm involved in motorsports, I had to go through and reckon with as well. And I'd lost friends in racing, but not actually due to racing accidents so much. Right. And so then really to be confronted, with it being not someone else, but my own father, very obviously very, very challenging.
Yeah, I'm sure, and also being so far from home as well. Very difficult. But no, I appreciate you talking about it. I always try and but it's always good to kind of address the human side of things of racing, and which is important. And I think that comes through in your actions, Chris. Obviously, just saying, right, nothing else matters right now. It's all about Alex and getting home and that kind of thing, which I guess says a lot about you both. Certainly in my eyes. But in a very tricky time. So no, thanks. But also that kind of coincided. Was it while all that was going on, you ended up competing against and sharing a podium with some chap called Sebastian Loeb, who I'm sure.
Oh, froze a little bit.
I can hear you.
You can, I can see and hear you. Just just can't see Richard. Just gonna have to rejoin again.
Yeah.
It's okay. I can see you again now.
I really don't like the internet sometimes.
Oh.
Blame the weather. No, that was not great timing. But sorry, folks. Back again. What happened with the Sebastian Loeb thing? So obviously it was a very difficult time for you, Alex. But what can you give us the what and the when and the how of how all that came to be?
Do you want me to answer, Alex?
Yeah, you can give it a start, and I'll chime in.
Yeah. So obviously it was still very, very fresh for Alex, but I had some funding come in, an opportunity to do this rally in the French Cup in the north of France in the same car as both Sebastian Loeb and I were driving Polo R5s, almost identical. His car is probably a bit quicker, but I just gave Alex a call and said, what do you think? Are you ready for this? And he said, yeah, it's exactly what I need. I want to get back to it, and it'd be a nice, no pressure event, because we didn't think we would be anywhere near Loeb. It was just a nice event to do.
Sure.
But then we ended up giving him a good run for his money and swapping seconds with him every stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was. And yeah, I mean, when I went home, I did a lot of like a memorial and everything for my dad with the hill climbing community, and I had and the rally community back there, and I had a lot of encouragement to continue. And I think I had a new family at the time, and obviously that weighed on my mind quite a bit. But I knew what my dad would have wanted as well. He wouldn't have wanted it to affect me anyway, but ultimately it had to come down to what I wanted, and it had been my passion with him since I was born, pretty much. And despite what had happened, it's ultimately what I wanted to do, and I wanted to be able to triumph over it and be able to return again. And it was actually the rally was on my 10-year anniversary of moving to London.
Right.
So it
Wow.
started the day I left the US and finished the day I landed in the UK, because you do a red eye.
Yeah, sure.
So I was like, actually, that's a very good chance to do it like that. But of course, it wasn't. It wasn't easy. The first day was tough. Like the stages were all right, but the road sections, I think, were quite difficult, and just that usually feel very safe in rally cars, but I would say just that day felt a bit vulnerable. And definitely the first shakedown run we did, and it was all quite rushed. It's pretty blown away by it's like, geez, these things go really fast.
Yeah.
If you kind of lost the appreciation for it in that sense. But by the second day, then I was really enjoying it again, and relishing the battle with Loeb. Some great stages running with Chris. We've enjoyed especially our time in the polo on tarmac together, and we even got to take one stage win from Loeb. But it was
Nice.
definitely the clips from that rally. It's quite a spectacular drive by Chris, so it's definitely a really good memory.
Yeah.
He didn't, like Alex, so professional. He didn't, I didn't have the faintest idea that he was struggling with that first day. It was just
really,
it just felt like business as usual. He was just on it and so professional. And yeah, Loeb was like half a second quicker on all these stages on the first day, and it was like was so close to getting a stage win off him, and then we did on the last day, and on the last few stages we were like matching times. So
wow,
it was a good rally back for Alex.
Yeah,
and me, but yeah,
it sounds like it was like the ideal time for it to come about, and with what was going on. And I mean, you shared a podium, with like Loeb as well. I mean, did you get to soak him in some champagne, or did you get to spray him? And if you did, were you thinking, what's happening here? It must have been so cool.
We got too much respect for him to have sprayed him in the face.
Just aim off to one side.
The other driver on the podium, he sprayed them both in the face, which was a bit. Yeah, I didn't have the bottle to do that to my hero, but.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tricky one, isn't it? You think, oh, I could, but I can't.
Yeah.
No, that's great. That's lovely, especially with the situations as well. Okay, I was going to fast forward very quickly here. John Ingram has said the highs and lows from these two would make a Hollywood film, especially when they win the World Championship. I like the when in there. That's good. That's very cool. We're going to come to the World Rally Championship in a minute, but just want to talk about 2024. Last year, only like your second year together. I guess you were thinking, in the British Rally Championship especially, you must have been thinking we can have a real good tilt at this. Because you had like a big sort of sponsor on board and everything, and did it all feel like it was aligning at the start of last year? Or was it the complete opposite?
No, I guess you're right. I think definitely Alex joining me and the pace we got so quickly started to feel like it was aligning. I did Monty with another co-driver, and it just was a disaster.
Right.
Really just bad luck on that event, and then sort of changed direction to go for this British Championship opportunity with Castrol starting in the Polo, moving to the Toyota later in the year. And it was just an epic year. Like, it's the first time I've rallied in the UK since I started when I was 18. So it was like coming back for first time in 10 years.
Yeah.
Doing all these events that I grew up watching my dad on. And we just had I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of different challenges through the year. Personally, for Alex especially, but I think when we were in the car, it was just definitely aligning and going from strength to strength. And there was just a great story as well, because I didn't make it easy for us. Like, I made a few mistakes during the year where I didn't need to go so quick, and I ended up going off a few times.
Right.
When I just didn't need to. So it was a great story throughout the year of wins and highs and lows again.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess, Alex, you kind of felt it aligning as well, and things, as Chris alluded to, you had another co-driver on another rally, and it perhaps didn't quite work. And I guess that's when Chris kind of realised that you were the guy that he needed alongside him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's never any doubt from Chris. I just had at that time a few other family things that I just really had to attend to, and I couldn't do it. So felt quite guilty that I couldn't be with him in Monty, but it was nice to be a little closer to home. Which is, here's my home now, to do the British Championship last year, and I've always, I came over here to start with the British Rally Championship. I've always held it in very high regard. And so it was quite a dream come true to be out there and leading every rally, being the ones to beat every rally, and just going flat out on some fabulous stages. And the competition was, much better than it had been in previous years. So it was nice to be fighting, and then we made it a little bit more stressful for ourselves, but we made it a much better championship as a result.
Yeah.
I mean, you touched on it there about being the guys to beat. Does that kind of change the dynamic between you guys, or the way you approach things? I mean, Chris, you said you made a couple of mistakes going too quick and stuff, but does it add to the pressure, or just how you approach things, knowing that you are the guys with the target on your back?
It was nice for a change, because I've always been going into these big events as the underdog.
Right. Yeah.
And like I said, I guess we were the ones that everyone wanted to beat, and all the quickest guys in the UK, apart from Elvin and all the quick guys at UK and Irish. Sorry, did I cut out then?
That's all right. Slightly muffled, but we're okay.
Yeah, so people were saying it's the most competitive it's been for 20 odd years. And it just made it a great battle. And our mindset was strong, and need to carry that forward now.
Yeah. Absolutely right. And just quickly, you know, when you win like the British Championship, you know, you've won. You know, I think you're the first? Is it the first British driver to have won? You know, both, which is a very cool thing to have. But obviously, for both of you, when you win the championship, especially after, you know, things that have been going on elsewhere, behind the scenes and things like that, it must have just been the best feeling. Maybe was it even better than 2019, Chris? Because obviously you didn't have to kind of, there wasn't so much going on. It wasn't like do it or get off the pot time. It was a bit. I guess it had a different feel to it for you guys.
Definitely, it was. Even though it's not as big a title, it was way better for me.
Yeah,
I just think we did a top job, and we just focused so much. And to do it with Alex was just a privilege, and to be able to dedicate it to Alex's old man was made it so worth all the effort and the relentless work behind the scenes to get to each rally.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And as Chris just sort of touched on, I guess it meant a lot to you as well. Obviously, with what had gone on.
Yeah, for sure. And so had a bunch of other family challenges throughout that year as well. So it was a lot to get to the rallies, but to come in on the last one with it all to do and to just sort of like win every stage, really just execute perfectly the whole time. I was really, really proud of it. And, you know, I'm not like the most, always the most, I don't know what the term would be, like spiritual person in a way, but definitely that day I knew if my dad was still around, he would have been there, but also, you know, a bit lost with trying to go spectate on his own without me, without me guiding him around and trying to trudge through the woods and all these things. And it's just like I knew he was there with the best view in the house. Watching every corner, bird's eye view, exactly how he wanted it. And I just felt like he got to really be with me the whole way rather than just a corner here and there and at the finish. So no, it was a really, really, really special day, and dream come true. And obviously, even though we wouldn't have chosen to leave it all to do on the last round, it was definitely the best way to do it when you can pull it off.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually love the way you described that with, you know, best view in the house. That's lovely. Love that. John Ingram has said, I don't know if this reflects very well on you, Chris, but he said Alex has the highest IQ of anyone I know.
Is it just my dad and Alex's mum watching?
No, there are. No, we've got loads. I've got a few little bits I need to pick up through, but yeah.
Shut down the chat soon.
Yeah. No. No, we are going to button up pretty soon. But obviously great year last year. But very quickly, you did say something to me, Chris, just before we went on air. You said, "Oh, there's got some big, some good news or something positive in the pipeline." I don't know how much you can say, but is there anything you can kind of slightly steer us towards or anything like that? Any rumors?
Not at this stage, unfortunately.
No, fair enough.
Because everything's still up in the air, and we're working hard to, like I say, this next chapter for us is it's now or never, full attack, all in. You know, we want to get that chance we deserve to compete at the top level that we've been working for 15, 20 years. So, yeah, we're working hard to make it happen and getting ourselves in the best position mentally, physically, to be able to make the most of it.
Yeah. Watch this space. I think we can read between the lines where that's going, hopefully, which is great. No, good. And I won't push any further. We don't do that. Okay, right. I very quickly have to just pick up some of the comments and questions that have come in because we are rattling on a bit. See, Diffan Evans tunes in every week. Hello, Diffan. And he always puts in Welsh rally names because I can't pronounce them. Is it Ceredigion or Ceredigion? I can't remember, Diffan. I'm sure you. Ceredigion. That one.
It depends how Welsh you want to make it sound, but
yeah, exactly. But our friend Diffan is from deepest, darkest Wales. I think I've said to him that his nearest big city is New York. He's so far into Wales. He said, "Are you planning on doing said rally later in the year? Any plans to do it?"
Really not sure yet. We'd love to, of course. It was a great, epic event last year, but nothing confirmed at the moment. We're working on it.
Yeah, fair enough. Again, watch this space. I'm just going to have a quick scroll here. What we got here? Did I have a good time in Spa? Yes, I did. Thank you, Diffan. Thank you very much. Right. Okay, let's have a good look here. Okay, Diffan, do you both watch or follow other forms of motorsport, or is it all rally all the way?
Go on, Alex.
I've been following F1 since I was quite young, watching F1. In America, it would be Sunday mornings with my dad. Usually, starting with the Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher battles, and we were big Damon Hill fans. So Chris and I got to hang out quite a bit with Damon when we received our British Rally Championship trophy in January, and he wanted to get a picture of it with himself as well, which was fun. But yeah, I still follow F1, and in my teenage years when I had more time, I did follow other forms of circuit racing as well, like heyday of British touring cars and some sports car racing and stuff, but don't really have the time or capacity to be able to pay attention to all that when I need to deal with my own stuff too. But rallying's always number one for me.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Same answer as Alex, really. I'm a casual F1 fan. Big supporter of Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, big fan. Yeah, he's
and hope all the Brits do well. But if only WRC had the coverage they get, because people need to see it. The coverage for F1 is just incredible, and
absolutely.
Rallying just seems to be hidden away a bit too much at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. We touched on it earlier with the coverage and things like that, which was it just needs more visibility, I think. And there was a question, I think it was from Sue Reese. Sorry, I can't see your comment there, Sue, but I have had it in the back of my mind. It was basically, obviously, we mentioned on the broadcasting and things like that, changes that need to be made to make it more visible. But obviously, I've got it on my notes here as well. What would you like to see change with the WRC and obviously and all the feeder kind of series to it to make it back how we remember it, or at least a bit closer to that? Obviously, there's some changes from you guys, from me being more inside the ropes than we are. What would you like to see?
Scrap Rally 1, have Rally 2 as the top class. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And make all the coverage free to view online.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's so many possibilities for viewing now, isn't there? It's not just on the TV. You can access it anywhere, and if it was free, we'd all get to see more of it. Companies would see it more. There'd be more marketing opportunities, etc., and it would help, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's very cool. I think someone said changes. Oh, someone said changes to the cars as well. Are there any sort of cars? Because I remember big Audi Quattros and Toyota Celicas and all that kind of stuff when I was growing up. And now they're also the smaller, more nimble kind of cars. I mean, obviously we can't go back to, no one's going to take a Hyundai Tucson over the stages. But is there anything you'd like to see change with the cars? Because obviously it's all in the laps of the manufacturers, isn't it?
They could make Rally 2 cars so much more exciting for little cost. But they insist on these Rally 1 cars costing millions and only 5 or 6 drivers, proper drivers, being able to drive them, and the rest of them paying to be there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if it
yeah,
was Rally 2, you'd have 50, 60, 70 guys with an equal chance. At the moment, you've only got 6 guys who've been there for 10, 15 years.
Right.
Yeah, agreed. Make it a lot more exciting, and the Rally 2 cars are really great machines. It's just they're a little noisier, had a bit more power. It would create that visceral experience for everyone watching that they have there. It's just they're just ever so slightly detuned to be very, very smooth. But they could be quite the spectacular thing to watch, like the Rally 1 cars, except rather than, as Chris mentioned, 6 cars, there could be, I mean, at the Rally 2 level, at every WRC event, there's 40 cars. So if that was the top class, you'd have even more. Everyone really going for it, which is what people want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd all love to see that. This chap on David on Twitter. Hello, David. Just a couple of things. What we got here? How do you rate the current rally schools bringing on the junior talent? That's a good question. I like that.
I'm not quite in the loop with what's going on at the moment, but there's some great rally schools in the UK. Phil Price is where I took my test back when I was 15, 16. And we still go testing there every now and then. So, yeah, Phil Price's rally school in Mid Wales is an epic place.
Yeah, it is good. It's good to hear that these places are still going, still doing very well for good people. Let's have a very quick skim down. We're coming towards the end here. Defan, stop writing Welsh names. I can't do it. I can't do Welsh rally title names. Oh, he's just saying that he lives right near the stages. Is it the Brechfa stage? Brechfa, I think that's it. He said
that was my favourite stage last year.
Oh, was it? Because he said that his mum can hear it from the front room, which is pretty cool. And him and his brother Daffyd, who I bumped into, were watching stage side on the mountain. I mean, that sounds like a good place to be already. So that's a good stage, is it?
Yeah, epic. Yeah. Is that Daffyd from? It's not Daffyd from Llanddewi Brefi, is it?
It could well be. If it is, chaps. If it is, chaps, pop it in the.
Google it.
Yeah, fantastic. Here's a good one. Topical. Right, this is one of the very last ones, and I've got a couple of bits, and then we'll go. Hang on one sec. Hang on. Where are we? Michael Jenkins. Michael Jenkins on Facebook. Hello, Michael. He says, question to both. What was your favourite British Rally Championship round and why? Also asked Chris about the last stage of Hungary 2019 at the finish line. Madness. Yeah, I think we've kind of covered that. I think. But what was your favourite British Rally Championship round? This is going to cause controversy. They're going to be...
I loved all of them, really.
Yeah, they all had some really great stages and roads.
It's got to be the Cambrian purely because of the day. It was we just nailed it.
Yeah.
But Ceredigions, was a very impressive rally.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Ceredigion stages that really hadn't been used until very recently and were quite phenomenal. It's hard to say, actually. All the rounds had such great roads. I'd never even looked at the roads in Grampian up in Aberdeen, but they were quite fast and, these long corners that open and tighten and still quite technical and really exciting. And Northwest stages to start the championship was amazing. All the jumps, fast stuff in between the hedges is all really good. I know it's a bit of a cop out, but I can't really give a favorite. Sorry.
Same.
We're more than happy to have a whole season as being good. That's more than happy with that. Okay, last one we got here. David again on Twitter. This is the last one I'm going to take, I think. It says, how do you think Carlos Sainz would perform as FIA president? Because he's just thrown his hat into the ring. I'd love to see that. This is Carlos Sainz Senior for older people like me. I think he'd be good. Yeah, he sort of knows his stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, anything. I mean, I would. That would be my favorite.
Yeah.
I would want someone that's has a really good reputation in rallying. Someone that understands both rallying and F1 would be ideal.
Yeah.
And definitely someone that's not the current one. At a minimum.
Very diplomatically put. Yes, agreed.
would as soon as possible would be massively beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think just, the fact he's a top driver as well, he's been and done it.
Yeah.
And he understands it with his son in Formula One now. I think hopefully he'd have the competitor's best interest at heart, which I'm not sure has been the case for a while.
Yeah. I think it's like getting the racer's point of view, isn't it? It's like like referees in football, isn't it? Ones that haven't played and all that kind of thing. It's the same kind of thing. If you've been there and done it, you're gonna understand it more. So yeah, good question, and I agree. Okay, just some little fun ones that I'm going to just pop in here. Just some fun questions. Okay, favorite racers growing up, apart from your father's, of course.
Loeb.
Yeah.
Ari Vatanen and Juha Kankkunen.
Yeah. Oh, I saw Juha Kankkunen on the TV for the first time, and he didn't have his moustache. I was gutted. I hadn't seen him for years. I was like, no, where's he gone? But no, good choices. Love those two. Okay. Any races that you particularly admire today in any series? But
for me, Lewis Hamilton in F1.
yeah,
as Chris sort of alluded to, I like all the British drivers in F1, including the one that flies a Thai flag.
yes.
And then I like OGA and Loeb are just such cool characters in their own way. Loeb, like being from like just so cool, calm, and collected, like just from like another planet, is so effortless. And OGA is he's so open, friendly, such a relatable, down to earth human being. It's impressive. You wouldn't. Neither of them act like they're way better than everyone else.
No, that's great.
Same answer for me. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Top guys. Have you got a favourite car that you've rallied? I mean, I guess it's different from driving to co-driving, but is there a favourite car that you think, that was top draw?
The Polo on tarmac was just like a glove, just felt I could do anything with it.
Yeah.
It's a shame that it's just become a bit too old, and the newer cars have had increased development the last couple of years, and it's just slipped back a bit now. But it was just like, perfection.
Yeah, it's just a car where you just felt with Chris, he could just drive on the limit everywhere all the time, and you felt like you were going fast all the time, and so it's just so spectacular to be in. And then actually and I go back to previous years, Chris would probably reiterate this as well, but I like that Opel Adam R2 on tarmac as well too. For being a little two-wheel drive car, it screamed, and it just had a really visceral feel to it. It was a lot of fun being in that.
Yeah, that's cool stuff. Okay, two quick comments that have just come in, and there was one that I was going to ask. They both tie in. Keith Mail has said, have you got a favorite car is there a car that you'd like to rally? And Vitolda Maraszewska has said, have you ever fancied trying Group B machinery for size?
I've driven a T16 Peugeot Group B car.
Right.
Kevin Ferber's car. It was absolutely crazy. Very, very difficult to drive. I don't know how they did it back in the day for 5 days, 6 days, however long they were.
Yeah.
Absolute brute.
Yeah.
I don't really. There's nothing I would. It'd be nice to drive a Rally 1 car, but I don't really care what we drive as long as we've got the chance to fight for the win. You know, for me, it's all about driving. It's not. It's about competing and driving. It's not about the car. As long as the car, obviously, we've got to have a competitive car, but I'm just a competitor. I don't look at cars and get turned on by them. I just want to compete and drive.
Yeah, that's the racer over the fan. Those who just look at the things.
I'm still, you know, a fan of growing up rallying in the 90s. So I just have a curiosity of what some of the Group A cars are like at full tilt. So
yeah,
you know, like the ST 185 Celica or like the Ford Escort WRC, the early WRC cars, just to feel what it's like that level of sideways committed driving. I don't know what it would feel like. So just kind of curious to experience that a little bit. But that's kind of the only era of car that I really feel like I want to have a bit of a go in, but only if done with someone like Chris properly.
Yes.
Yeah, having said that, I would love to drive a Subaru WRC. Yeah, any of them.
That would.
They
that
turn
would,
me, to be honest.
that would absolutely do. I mean, I was saying at Spa at the weekend. Excuse me, I was at Spa Francorchamps at the weekend, and at the bottom of like Radion Rouge, they had the Martini Lancia Delta Integrale, and in the Martini livery, and it just took me back to being a kid, and I thought, oh, go on, fire it out. I just want to hear it, you know. But they didn't that. But that'd be one that I'd like to see some of you guys do. Okay, last question. Have you got that's broadcastable? Have you guys got a favorite moment from off track? Something funny that's happened, or a moment that sticks out, whether it's a celebration or one of you falling over or something, or anything like that?
I'm trying to think.
It's all gone quiet.
So my amazing story is before. So it was always one of my dreams to do Monte Carlo. And the morning before the first day, I went for a run along the port of Monaco, and I bumped into two dogs. And the ladies who were walking the dog, I just had to say hello to these dogs because one of them was a black Labrador, which I had as my first dog. And I got chatting to the owners, and one of the ladies said, "I'd love to introduce you to my daughter." And now she's my girlfriend, and we've had a baby. So it's thanks to that chance meeting, Monte Carlo Rally. So that's my favourite story.
Oh, I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So my son would never be here without chasing my dream to Monte Carlo Rally.
Oh, that's a real wider picture moment. I love that. That's great. That's great.
That's great. I think that takes the cake. Leave you with that one.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you got anything? No.
Nothing that matches that.
No, fair enough. No, that's cool. And honestly, I mean, we've run over, as we always do on these things. I always get too involved. Sorry, folks. We've run over a bit, but there was a lovely comment that came in, and it's a lovely way to end it. It was from Martin Forrester, and he said, Chris and Alex, full send for the World Rally Championship. You deserve the chance, guys. Chris, you're so humble and give back to the rally community, helping younger drivers, and everyone hugely appreciates it. And obviously that goes to Alex as well. So that's a lovely line to end on, I think. Yeah, it's been great. Guys, well, firstly, guys, thank you everyone for tuning in and all the comments and everything. There's over 200 of you tuning in, which is very, very nice of you. Thank you for the support and everything. But of course, biggest thanks to Chris and Alex, guys. It's been great speaking with you. Really appreciate your time. Sorry it's gone a bit later than planned, but really appreciate you sparing your time. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you so much.
Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
It's almost time for our next rally now.
I was going to say, I mean, it's I think the 2026 season starts in a minute, doesn't it? But no, guys, thanks very much again. I really appreciate it. And obviously wish you all the best for what's to come this year and the future. We'll all be watching.
Thanks a lot. Thanks to everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Appreciate it.
Great stuff. Cheers, guys. All the best.
Cheers.
We'll be back next week.